Welcome you inside Wildcat Country. It's the last regular season home game, season game of the year for both the Lakeville South Cougars and the Eagan Wildcats. As you see, people starting to fill in here in Wildcat Country. The band is here. They're ready to go. So we're coming up just moments away. It's the Cougars and the Wildcats here on ETV. Boy, that almost sounded like I know what I was doing. Eagan Wildcat Country tonight. It's, as we said, it's week 8 of the regular season. Hard to believe we're here already. I'm Mike Cook. He's Nathan Cron, and we've got a couple of teams that have very different records, shall we say, different success on this year. But we're still excited. It's a special edition, Friday Night Lights. It's the MEA edition, so we're here on a Wednesday night.
Well, it's a Wednesday night full of Friday Night Lights, and you're right, Mike. We've got 2 teams and 2 programs right now that are on very, very different pages. They still have to play out of the same book, the same way of doing things. They have to come out and win football games. They have to come out and compete. You've got the Lakeville South Cougars on one side visiting here at the Wildcat Country. They are 2 weeks removed from upsetting their crosstown rivals, the Lakeville North Panthers, in an exciting thriller. Last week they took care of business in a big way against Farmington, and clearly, as the number 2 ranked team in the state at 6A, they are clearly primed to make a run here in these playoffs. They got to make sure that they don't overlook this Eagan team. They got to make sure that they take care of business here tonight. Obviously, they're bigger, faster, stronger, but that's why you play the football game.
And there's the Eagan band. They're boys on the field. It's been another rough season under first-year head coach Nick Johnson. The Wildcats 0-7 coming into this one. Been vastly outplayed a good chunk of the year. But with a whole new coaching staff, a whole new system, new program. We talked to Coach Johnson before the game. He still sees a lot of positives coming out of this program, and sometimes you got to go through the hard stuff to get to the good stuff.
That's right. I mean, it's going to be a situation where all year, the coaching staff has preached to these kids and to this program and to this community that this is going to take some time to build this up. It's going to take some time to kind of get the foundations right. It's not as though the kids aren't trying. We see effort every week. We also see, unfortunately, a handful of situations where Eagan is doing things well and then takes a step backwards, right? Last week against Eastview, they had 3rd and 3 on their first offensive drive. 3rd and 3, they're ready to get another first down, and all of a sudden they jump off sides. That's the kind of mental mistake that Coach Johnson just can't have this week.
You look at the pink out across the way. That's the Lakeville South student section. We did clarify that it's not a breast cancer awareness kind of deal. It's just plain old pink out. It's a pajama party for the Pit tonight. We'll see them momentarily. But we are moments away from the Wildcats taking to the field for the final time at home in 2019.
Well, Mike, I'm excited for this football game because not only do we get a chance to be under the lights, not only do we get a chance to come here as a community and celebrate, athletic skill, music, do everything we need to do here as a community, but also it's an opportunity to watch individuals, especially a lot of seniors who were honored pregame on senior night, an opportunity to watch them leave it all out on the field. I mean, sometimes when you're having a tough season, the best thing you can say to your teammates is, I might lose, but I'm going to lose, or I'm going to go out sticking, and I'm going to go out playing my hardest, and we're going to see what happens tonight.
You see the pajama party from the Pit. It's like their version of the Homer Hankies that you saw briefly at the other end of the field, the Lakeville South Cougars making the trek up. And as the Eagan Wildcats coming across the goal line at the south end zone in Wildcat Country, as you've got the Wild Goal song playing in the background. Not sure that's necessarily a positive right now leading into a game as the Wild have struggled mightily coming out of the gate.
Well, anything to get people up and cheering, right? Anything that gets people going, Mike, is probably a good thing. These Eagan Wildcats obviously have their work cut out for them tonight to play competitive football against an excellent football team from Lakeville South. But the work remains. I mean, the opportunity is every single play to get a little bit better, to show that somebody else that you belong on this field.
Absolutely. And you mentioned there was all the seniors that got introduced before the game. We'll talk about that in a moment, later on tonight, because right now we are going to be getting set momentarily. Apparently we've got some technical difficulties. Now we'll get set for the national anthem here in Wildcat Country.
Raise the flag at the north end of Wildcat Stadium as we honor America. The national anthem this evening will be performed by Taylor Lander. She is a senior here at Eagan High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That was Taylor Lander, a senior here at Eagan High School, with the national anthem before tonight's football game. And really, I would call this a much improved night weather-wise from what we saw 5 nights ago at Eastview when it was snowing and winding, and the wind chill was in the 15 degree range. And here, game time temperature, it's 40 degrees. Really no wind to speak of. A fly is hanging limp at the north end of the stadium. Field's in really good condition right now, considering we are in mid-October.
Yeah, we were down on the field earlier before the game. Did not see a lot of turf torn up or anything like that. Candidly, in the last couple of games here at home, Eagan has, it seems to me, and again, maybe it's just my perception, but it seems to me we've had some trouble keeping our feet. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem here tonight. Look, the fact is that the margin for error here for Eagan, in terms of being successful, is relatively small. I mean, they've got to do everything perfectly. They've got to make sure they make tackles when they have opportunities. They make sure they have to read the blocks and hit the hole the right way. They have to make sure that they don't commit penalties. They have to be smart. They can't jump off sides. They can't have false starts. They have to line up properly. Everything has got to be perfect. If they're perfect, they can be competitive with Lakeville South, and then you never know what happens. I mean, the fact of the matter is that a lot of Eagan players and a lot of Eagan fans, a lot of Eagan coaches will tell you, Eagan hasn't had a lot of what you would call in hockey puck luck, this year. They haven't had calls that have really gone their way. They haven't had situations where crazy plays or dumb plays from the other team have suddenly turned into opportunities for them. It just hasn't happened. Maybe the football gods are saving all that up for this game against Lakeville South.
You never know. And this Lakeville South team, the thing to keep an eye on for Lakeville South tonight is they run the ball better than just about any team I think I've ever seen. You could maybe argue Elk River in the last few years the way they've run the football, but Lakeville South is really a three-headed rushing monster. We'll keep an eye on all those guys tonight. You've got Riley Hageland is 22, Johnny Sabaj is 24, and 28, Willie Bastier, just the three workhorses for this Lakeville South squad. Matter of fact, last week in a 61-6 rout of Farmington, yes, I said 61-6 rout of Farmington, Lakeville South ran for 370 yards, passed for 0. 0 for 2 through the air.
Well, last week we saw a team that ran the football fairly well in Eastview, and when they ran the ball, they were somewhat successful. When they threw the ball, other than occasionally a blown coverage here and there, not so much. And the week before that was Burnsville. You had a Burnsville power running attack here against this Eagan Wildcat defense, and the defense, they've got their work cut out for them, no question, Mike. And historically, I'm trying to contrast. The defense played some of its best football of the year against Lakeville North earlier this year. Lakeville North is an excellent football team. They need to bottle that up, take a swig of it tonight, because they're going to see a lot of the same stuff coming from Lakeville South.
Yep. So back deep for the Wildcats, number 11, Isaac Olin, the senior wideout / linebacker, and 23, Adam Bartle, who really he's listed as a cornerback, but he's been playing, I think, some linebacker this year as well for the Wildcats. It is senior night here in Wildcat Country. They honored 39 seniors amongst the players, dance team, cheer, and a couple of the baton twirlers in the band. Yeah, and Eagan's going to start just outside their own 20-yard line here on ETV. Glad you're with us wherever you're watching us here on special edition of Friday Night Lights. It's what used to be known as MEA weekend here in Minnesota. So
I think it's still known as that. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be known as in the future.
Yeah, it's not the official name. It's like Education Minnesota is now the union group, but I think they call it like Admin or something.
No, the kids call it 3-day week.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, but it's either way, it's always going to be MEA weekend, and I'm sure all the teachers will be heading down to the XL Center for the convention. For those that haven't left town already, taking a lengthy weekend. First play of the game will be the Eagan Wildcats. Ethan Gugino is the signal caller. He wears number 17. He's got Jaden Williams, 24, in the backfield. And here comes Williams. Gobbled up near side. Minimal pickup that time. First man in for Lakeville South, I believe, was number 20 on the play. And that is Jack Molinsky. They listed him as Jacob. Coach called him Jack and said we can go with Jack. So Molinsky the stop. Big hockey player as well for Lakeville South.
Well, if the coach says call him Jack, then you better call him Jack. Although if he keeps making tackles like that, we'll probably call him whatever he wants to be called.
Yeah. 2-yard gain that time for Williams. Gugino pitch and read very well by Lakeville South. That play never had a chance. Hey, there's Molinsky once again in there for the Lakeville South Cougars. Cade Aaronholz in there as well, the big defensive lineman. There he is right there. That's Aaronholz. Well,
it didn't help. It didn't help that the pitch relationship wasn't great. But that time, Aaronholz came almost not free. He did have a blocker, but the blocker did not move his feet enough, didn't use his hands enough, and that time he was able to just slice right past him and make the play. You know, if you hold stop that helmet, you have a chance, but you got to stop the helmet.
3rd and 11 for the Cats. You would think it's a passing situation. And Gugino, short drop, steps up, avoids one tackler, not the others. A couple of players in on that sack for Lakeville South. Looked like 71 joined Aaronholz on that one, and 71 is Mason Coons. 6'2", 250 they list Mason at. Big number 71 for the Lakeville South Cougars. Watch it on the left side of your screen. Aaronholz just comes right around that left end. Actually, in there, 46 as well was Hayden Molesky. So we got a Molinsky and a Molesky for Lakeville South. We'll have to hopefully keep those straight all night. Punt situation for the Cats. Nice high kick. And caught back at the 50. This is Shabazz, 45-40. And Johnny Shabazz takes it down to about the Wildcat 35-yard line. Outstanding opportunity for the Lakeville South Cougars.
Well, from Lakeville South, for those of you on your television, if you're used to the NFL for college spread offenses, things like that, you might be wondering where all the receivers are. And don't worry about it. Don't adjust your television. They're there. They're just playing tight end or wing or something in a little bit tighter. And so you're going to see 11 players all within about 4 yards, maybe 4.5 yards of the ball. And the Eagan Wildcat defense is going to have to adjust to deal with that reality.
As you look at their Shabazz, 24, 22 is Riley Hagland. You'll see 28 out there a lot as well. That's Willie Bastier. Reed Patterson is the quarterback. Patterson will keep, looks to throw. Far side, got a man open down at the 5, down to the 1-yard line. Panthers, Brecky on the reception. 35 yards from Patterson to Brecky.
Well, that's what happens when you don't throw a pass the week before, or at least you don't complete a pass the week before. What do? You come out and you throw the football on the first play, and it makes a big it just completely takes everybody out of it. I mean, Eagan was clearly thinking run. Eagan had some good pursuit. Had that been a running play and the handoff actually taken place, there's a chance Eagan could have made a play on that, but excellent pass downfield.
Patterson, Hagland. And did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown Cougars. And 2 plays, 36 yards, took all of 15 seconds. Cats are down 6-0.
Well, already here watching this play, you see they have a chance there. They're making contact, but they've got to be able to wrap up and roll their hips and legs through the tackle. I know it's late in the season to be pointing out small things like that, but the reality of it is
and they go for 2 and they get it on the run. Aaronholz, I believe, number 19, Kate Aaronholz on the run. 8-0 Panthers.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over the play there, Mike. I thought for sure they'd be kicking the extra point, but with a kicker that let's see here,
John Olson.
Yep, John Olson, the kicker, who we saw. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we saw him drill a 53-yarder in practice. Now, granted, that wasn't with a rush or anything like that, but still, 53 yards straight down the middle is still impressive for a young man.
And I was looking at the box score last week of the Lakeville South romp over Farmington, 61-6. It was 38-0 at the half, and the Cougars did not attempt an extra point in that opening half. It was all 2-point tries. So they converted on 4 of them, and they also had a 2-point try in the second half before Olson finally kicked the PAT late in that one, in a game that against the Farmington defense that really, well, my son said they were doo-doo because Eagan scored against them, which is a little bit of a stretch. Farmington's a good team, and they had a bad night. And they're such a passing offense, and with the cold, wet conditions, and but no, they're a good team. And you know what? I remember that game. Eagan was with Farmington for a good chunk of the game. That was 7-0 at the half, and
that's right.
Before the Tigers just kind of wore down the Wildcats. So
that's right.
Yeah, you can't slight anybody for that. But hey, it's a 12-year-old kid telling us something.
Yeah.
So
it's the number 2 ranked team in the state, right? I mean, they're going to make everybody look like amateurs out there. I mean, they're going to make everybody look like they're not prepared or that they're not physical enough. And the challenge here to Eagan, you're at 8 down, down 8, touchdown down right now, or here early in the first quarter, as I'm struggling with speech, is to step up to the plate and do something important, do something good here, positive, move this football.
Absolutely. And you said it in the intro. I mean, Eagan's done some good things, but too often it's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. Here's Danko on the counter. That's going to maybe lose a yard. First man in there for Lakeville South, number 85, Zach Jukel.
Yeah, it wasn't a poorly designed play at all. It was. I mean, there was an opportunity there. As you watch here, Danko comes across from left to right on your screen. There's an opportunity there. I get I'm a little concerned. 85. Let's see. I'm sorry. That was Jukel. Yep. So Jukel is in the hole waiting for him. Makes the tackle. I wonder if he's supposed to be blocked in that scheme. My guess is that he is.
Yeah, Jukel had 4 solos, 6 assists last week, 10 tackles. Leading tackler for the Cougars. Gino looking to throw it. He's going to look across the middle and too far. Tried to get, I believe that was Evans coming on the little inside route. And again, 3rd and long upcoming for the Wildcats.
Well, the unfortunate negative there is the pass just doesn't get completed, but the positive there, Mike, is that was open.
Yes,
that was easily open. I'm not sure if that was necessarily Lakeville South had an issue in their secondary or whether Eagan just caught him napping or what the deal was, but he completes that pass and he picks up easily a first down and probably gets another 10 yards.
Yep. So instead, 3rd and 10 for the Wildcats. 3 and out their first possession. Near side Williams. Minimal pickup, good coverage back there by guess who again? Number 85, Jackal for Lakeville South Cougars, or Juckle, I should say. My apologies.
Well, it's good pass protection there by the Eagan Wildcat offensive line, so you got to start with that. And it's not a pass that you want to complete when you have 3rd down and 10. You hit the flat, but at the same time, hopefully that's a precursor of good things to come for Ethan Gugino as he finishes out this senior year here at home.
Olin sent to punt this one away. A low liner. And it slices out of bounds at about the 45-yard line on the Cougar side of midfield, where Lakeville South will take over with 8:08 to go in the opening quarter. It's already 8-0 Cougars. Just looking elsewhere around the local prep scene tonight. Eastview's playing Rosemount in a game that is going to be actually at Lakeville North High School because the Rosemount field is in such bad condition. And that facility is open because North is at Farmington tonight. North looking to get Rajan Nelson back. He missed their win against White Bear Lake last week. And top-ranked Wayzata is over taking on the Burnsville Blaze tonight. Be a tough one for the other south of the river team, but hey, you never know the way this prep season has gone. There's been upsets aplenty. And Patterson on first down gets a couple of yards there for the Cougars.
You might ask yourself, Mike, and I think it would be typical of most people, even myself, would say, well, why are you running a quarterback sneak on first down like that? And what that does is that's one more play that all of the defense now takes an extra step, an extra 6 inches in. So on the next play, you can go outside like you are here.
No, actually, you're going right up the middle. That was
Okay.
Shabazz. That was a good read by the Wildcat
right.
D. Yep.
Well, he was okay, you're right. He was up the middle. So that was a mistake on my part. So watch this fake, though. What an excellent fake.
A nice job, though, coming from behind his that. I believe that's Sorensen. Oh,
Yep.
check that. That's Wallach.
That's Wallach, yep.
And that's a loss of 2. Actually, we're going to say a loss of 1 officially.
You know, if the Eagan Wildcat defense can run to the ball with numbers and make tackles and not have any broken tackles, they've got a chance to compete. But they've got to make those tackles as they've done on the first 2 plays.
How about this 3rd and 9 for the Cougars? No receivers in this package. And they are going to throw. Patterson's going to roll. He's chased by Merwin. Patterson does get it off, and too high for his intended target, Malman. And if you throw too high for Riley Malman, that's a high football because Malman, number 86, is 6 foot. They list him at 6'8" and 270. Big number 86.
Yeah,
for the Cougars.
You're absolutely right, Mike. It was excellent coverage that time. It was excellent coverage by Eagan's secondary. Minus Charles O'Toole tonight,
yes.
So with an injury. So that's really positive that they were able to create this 3 and out.
Lakeville should be kicking this one from about their own 35. Nice high kick. Cats back, and they're going to do the return. That's Bartle with a nice. Check that. That was Olin, not Bartle. Or no, Colby Sorensen.
Sorensen. Yeah, I think that's Sorensen, number 3.
Well, he hasn't been back there for a while.
But I got to tell you, Mike, that was one of the gutsiest punt returns I've seen all season. I mean, he had 2 or 3 Cougars right in his lap when he caught this ball. Watch him catch this ball, and he's got 2 or 3 Cougars right in his lap. In fact, they have to pull back to make sure they don't interfere with him. And yet he takes that ball, holds onto the ball, which is always a number 1 job as a punt returner, and he's able to get outside. He breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles. He breaks 3 tackles, Mike. Amazing. Excellent effort by the young man.
First down for the Cats. Cats might have jumped, but Gino's on the keep. Minimal, pickup, maybe 1. You look at a guy like Sorensen. I mean, you talk about it. He's probably been, I'd say, one of the better players on this squad this year. I mean, obviously you're not going to play defensively a lot. You don't get a lot of the pub and the press and whatnot, but I'd say I would definitely put him in one of my top, few players on this team.
Yeah. He's made a number of excellent contributions to the team. They are the kind of contributions that you have to have if you're going to be a successful football team, but also if you're a successful football team or have any success at all, with the number of players that play both ways and have to cover things on both sides of the ball that we've seen this year.
And the good thing for the Cats is he's just a junior. Little trickery, Evans. And Evans runs into his own man. Cooper bounces to the outside. He looks for a block. And Brecky comes up and makes the stop for the Cougars after the Cats get that one out to about the 32-yard line. All that effort results in about a 3-yard pickup.
Well, it's very exciting. No question about that. It was exciting to watch. And I think we talked about it before the game. I suspected that Eagan might be whatever's left in the playbook that they haven't used this year, that they would be using it because there's no question, there's no reason to hold it back. And excellent job that time by just, not making any mistakes, getting a few yards, set up a makeable 3rd down.
Yeah, and I think it was Oland he was looking for initially. 3rd and long for the Cats. Gino straight across. There's Oland right there. That's going to be a first down out near midfield and more. Oland down inside the 45-yard line of Lakeville South. 23-yard pickup for the Wildcats.
Oh, they made that look so easy. They made that look so easy. Gugino takes the snap. He drops back. 3-step drop on rhythm. Delivers the ball. The offensive line keeps a clean pocket. Olin catches the ball. He has room. He turns, breaks to the outside, picks up another 8-9 yards to the outside. Excellent job by Eagan. If that's there all night, keep running it.
And they're going to spot him actually at the 45. Minimal gain there on first down by the Wildcats. A couple of Cougars in there. Dean Cardis, number 21, in there along with Juckle. But now, you make a play like that, you got to make something happen if you're the Wildcats. So you got a 2nd and 9 upcoming from the Lakeville South 44-yard line. As you see at the bottom of your screen, 8-0 South. Scored early in this one on a 1-yard run that was set up by a 35-yard pass to Brecky. 4.5 to go in the opening quarter. And we're going to go straight ahead. Williams, and it's going to be 3rd and long again for the Wildcats. Number of Cougars in there. 46 Molesky among others.
Well, I understand. I understand Williams is being met by a Cougar in the hole, but when he takes this handoff, Mike, he's standing up straight and he's hesitating at the point of attack. He's got to lower his shoulder. He's got to drive his legs, and he's got to keep pushing forward. What he's doing is he's giving up all of his momentum, and then the Lakeville South defender is able to corral him and get him to the ground. If he hits with any force whatsoever, he probably can glance off and get a couple more yards.
Robinson and Olin, the receivers in this package for the Wildcats. Williams alone in the backfield. They're going to fake the handoff. Gugino, look out, he's got trouble, and he's going to spin around. He's going to maybe end up losing only 1, but good pressure by the Lakeville South defense. And guess who's in there again, number 19, Cade Ehrenholz, who they listed 6'4", 200, just a junior.
He's an excellent player, no question about that. At that time, candidly, the offensive line needs to stay on those blocks. I mean, it's a situation where Gugino looked to the right, didn't see anything, and if he gets any blocking at all on the left side, he's able to sneak out. He's able to sneak out and maybe get a first down.
Olin to kick this one away. Shabazz retreats, gets it about his 12. Got some room on that right side. And Shabazz still on his feet out near the 35-yard line, where he's met by a whole bunch of Eagan Wildcats. Number 8, Jonah Evans in there. Number 51, Zach Jacobson, among others. And for the 3rd time tonight, Lakeville South will have the football, this time from their own 32-yard line.
Well, they'll be starting not only on their own 32-yard line, so Eagan did a good job there, Mike, of at least getting a couple of first downs and moving the ball out of their own territory, flipping the field a little bit. The other thing is, let's remember something. This defense just made them go 3 and out.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no reason they can't do that again.
Right. Handoff, Shabazz. And out to about the 35-yard line. Check that. First carry for Willie Bastier, number 28.
I mean, it's a gain of a little less than 3, maybe a long 2, maybe a short 3. But if that's what candidly, Mike, for this Eagan defense, if that's what Lakeville North does or Lakeville South, does to them all night, you'll take that. I mean, that's good play. That's good defensive football.
2nd and long. Actually have a receiver this time in this set for the Cougars. This time, Lakeville, they're going to stick with Bastier. Minimal pickup. Good job that time coming up was Cifuentes for the Wildcats. But you know what? Give a bunch of other Eagan Wildcats credit on that play.
Yeah, Merwin stands him up. Watch this. Merwin stands up here, and then Cifuentes finishes him off. They did a good job. Merwin and Cifuentes both did an excellent job of reading the guards. Now, when you watch those guards, the play side guard pulls out and comes around the corner. He leads the charge, leads the parade. And you just have to read those guards. Now, the trick is going to be once those guards start going away and the ball goes the other way, that's when you get burned.
Yeah, 3rd and about 5 for the Cougars. This is Haglund. And he'll get out across the 40. It's going to be 4th down upcoming for South. Good, nice job by the Wildcat defense. Oland was in there. I believe Derek Hansen got in there to help disrupt things. 41.
I think I was going to say, pardon me, Mike. I think you have to be real careful here if you're Eagan, because this is for a team that's trying to really put away Eagan. This would be the kind of situation where a fake or some sort of trickeration might be in order.
And Sorensen misplays that. Does hang on, though. Okay. By the way, I haven't mentioned it, but Will Geary is the Lakeville South punter. His 2nd effort tonight. Wildcats are going to start at their own 30-yard line here with 55.5 to go. Opening quarter here on ETV.
I think if you're the offensive line here for Eagan, hopefully you've got been fortified with a pep talk from your coach and you're ready to go, because if they stay on these blocks for an extra half second or second, Gugino and the backs are going to be able to do something for them.
Fake to Williams. Gugino keep. He'll pitch near side. That ball's fumbled. And jumping on it was Evans for the Wildcats as Brecky hustled in for Lakeville South. Brecky among others. Aaron Holmes in there again.
What was I saying earlier about luck and the football gods?
Exactly.
I mean, the Eagan offensive line blocked that up properly. They blocked that up properly. There was one option man, two backs. They had him. They absolutely had him. If they get this pitch, right, they have him. And he's going to get Evans is going to get yards, and that just it wasn't right. If the pitch was too high, it was too far out.
See the seconds counting down on the bottom of your screen. Should be the final play of quarter number 1. As the Cats will get a 2nd and 13 from their own 27. And they're giving it to Williams. Maybe gets back to where this drive started. Big 71 in there. Again, Mason Coons in there for the Lakeville South Cougars as the clock hits 000. And when we start quarter 2, the Wildcats are going to be looking at a third and about 10 after that 3-yard run by Williams. Hey, did you know that it takes volunteers to broadcast Wildcat sports on ETV? Join the ETV team and help your team. If you and I can do this, I mean, anybody can. So ETV, a little free training there. So go to eagan-tv.com, sign up to volunteer today.
Well, not only is it easy, Mike, as you said, that if we can do it, or they can find a place for us, they can find a place for anybody. But the reality of it is it's a lot of fun. Even on crisp nights like this, you're out here, you're part of the community, you get some good seats, you get to see things that nobody else gets to see. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be out here. It's a lot of fun to be part of this community and this celebration. It's a celebration of football, of family, of community. And, because we've got these food trucks, some food, which hopefully we'll be able to sample at halftime.
Well, that segues right into something. The food trucks tonight here in Wildcat Country is El Burrito Mercado. Brick Oven Bus, I think they've been here every game this year.
So.
And Pigs Unlimited is back as well, and I think they've been here
2 or 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So El Burrito Mercado.
Do you have a favorite, Mike? No.
I know people that have raved about all of them, quite frankly.
I've got my favorite with each particular truck.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, yeah. I like your thinking. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. But hopefully all those trucks want to come back during the 2020 campaign. Nice pass there for the Wildcats. And it's going to set up 4th and short with Evans on the reception from Gugino.
Nice job by Evans. He catches this ball. He doesn't have a whole lot of momentum. Watch his feet when he catches the ball. Doesn't have a whole lot of momentum. He's got to generate it all. The Lakeville South defender does slip and fall, and they're able to move forward. They're able to move forward and get very close to a first down.
I'll tell you what, let's give Gugino credit, too. He stood in there. He took a lick.
Yes, he did.
When he let go of that football. Cats looking to kick it away for the first time this quarter. I believe 4th time tonight. And they are going to go for the fake instead. Oh, an intended target. Couldn't quite connect. Danko was the intended receiver on the pass from Oland. So the fakery does not work.
Oh, it was there.
It was there, absolutely.
It was there. He was standing there by himself. I mean, if that, watch him. He's out of the corner here. But he's by himself. If there's just a little less air under that ball, another 12 inches lower, unbelievable. I mean, but again, that's the kind of, Mike, as I said earlier, that's the kind of stuff that happens this year. I mean, Eagan has not had the benefit of those things working for them. No matter how many times they do it, it just doesn't seem to work.
And I like that call for actually.
Oh, I love that call.
Well, I like it for a couple of reasons. One, it's something different. You never know. And 2, I mean, it's going to take plays like that to beat Lakeville South. Who gets, they're going to lose a couple of yards here on first down as Shabazz the ball carrier. But if you were to keep that drive alive and, go down, get some points on the board, you start putting a little more doubt in the mind of the Cougars who, they're coming into this game. They've got 1 loss on the year.
Yep.
Number 2 team in 6A.
Yep.
They're teenagers. They know the records. They know the standings. They know the stats.
That's right. And full credit to William Bastier. He carried out his fake 10 yards, a full 10 yards down the field. I have not seen that regularly in high school football.
And bringing it to the outside. Speaking of Bastier, and he'll get down to about where are they going to spot this one? Is it enough to move the sticks? Indeed it is. That ball is going to be spotted at the 27-yard line. That's a 13-yard pickup. And check that, it's Hagelin, number 22, not Shabazz.
Well, when Eagan has struggled against running football teams, it's generally not been, I'm going to exaggerate here, generally not been between the tackles. It has been to the outside. And I think Lakeville, now that they've set up Eagan to stay inside, that's probably when they start hitting the edges.
Again, no receivers for the Cougars. Patterson with the fake handoff. Rolls, looks, got his man downfield. Touchdown, Brecky. 27 yards on the touchdown toss.
Well, the quarterback that time for Lakeville South had the selection. I mean, honestly, the play fake was so solid and so thorough that he had, if you look to the right side of your screen here, there are going to be three or four receivers in that rollout that were all available for him to throw the ball to. In fact, I thought he was going to go short with it.
I did too.
Because it was going to be an easier pass, but he made that look pretty easy too.
Yep, I thought Shabazz was going to get that catch coming out of the backfield, but Olsen for the PAT. Lots of leg, lots of accuracy, and it's 15-0 Cougars with 10:27 to go. Opening half here on ETV. And you mentioned Olsen. We saw the leg right there, and you said we saw him during warm-ups. That one good from 53. So a nice weapon to have for the Cougars.
Well, especially in those playoffs, Mike. Yeah. I mean, especially in the playoffs when games get tight, overtime can occur. You need to make sure you can get points no matter where you are in the field. And let's face it, Lakeville South's offense is not a spread offense. It's not an offense that's meant to race up and down the field like a bunch of track stars. It is a little more 3 yards in a cloud of dust grinded out. And so to be able to kick field goals consistently would be a good thing.
You know, I thought it was interesting before the game when you and I were talking to Coach Ben Burke over there, and you had asked him, you know, how important is it to get opportunities like that to maybe kick a field goal tonight, you know, extra points, make sure your punts are all set up. As you said, you're going into the postseason where one unlucky bounce and you're done.
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, to win a state championship, I suspect, now I'm not an expert on winning state championships, okay, but I suspect it requires excellence in all the various phases of the game. It has to require, it requires returning, coverage, kicking, punting. It requires all those things to be right on. And if you don't practice it in game situations, you can practice against your own guys in practice every Wednesday and Tuesday, but it's not the same. Right. It is not the same as practicing against another team.
You know, let's say you get down to U.S. Bank Stadium, you've got 15,000 people watching, you know, and you need that kick to either pin your guy deep, or there's a kick into the end zone, or you need that 3 points for whatever reason. You've got to know that, hey, we can send out, you know, John Olsen, for example, and he's going to make that field goal.
That's right. It completely changes how you call a red zone offense too. I mean, the fact that you know you can kick a field goal, for instance, makes a difference when you're calling plays. On third down, you're going to do X rather than Y, and the reason you're going to do that is because you know that if X doesn't work for whatever reason, we're going to kick a field goal, or we're still going to get points out of this possession.
I should mention the Eagan kicker is Noah Kipp, who we have really had a chance to mention very much this year. He's a senior on this team. He stepped up, and I know he's gotten better and better in practice, but you never get to see it during games. And he said, you know, Eagan he's 1 for 1 on PATs, and he did miss one field goal earlier in the year, and the ball is loose on the turf as the Cats take over. Cougars say they have it.
And they do.
Let's say number 52 comes out of the pile. Carter Bertram had the ball in his hands, or in his hand, I should say. Let's take a look at looking back. Oh, yeah, Malman just reaches in. Williams lost it.
Yep.
And look at how many Cougars are on that football.
Yeah,
Watch Big 86 there. That's Malman. As we said, he's going to be heading to University of Wisconsin. Expected to play O-line for the Badgers. So an early fumble on this in the second quarter, and the Cats are looking, or the Cougars, I should say, looking at an awesome opportunity to pump this lead up even more than the 15-0 it already is.
Yeah, the Cougars coming out with one receiver split well out to the left, a couple of backs in a split back situation behind the quarterback. So changing changing their formation a little bit.
Patterson going for the dagger on this drive. Got his man deep in the corner. Good coverage back there by the Wildcats. That was Robinson on the coverage.
Yep.
Number 9, Geary, the intended target for the Cougars.
Yeah, Robinson had great coverage that time. I was a little worried. It's top of the screen, as you see here. Robinson never really turns around to pick up this ball until right at the end. But full credit to Robinson. He didn't do it. He didn't run through the receiver. He ran up next to the receiver and did an excellent job.
Now, too, credit by Patterson too. That was a nicely thrown ball.
It was.
2nd and 10 for the Cougars. Patterson hands it off. Bastier slips through Wallach, stays on his feet, and the pile moves for about an 8-yard pickup on what easily could have been a 2-yard gain at most.
Yeah. Bastier gets a lot of credit for that one. There was some confusion in the Eagan defensive secondary. I mean, in terms of who's got that ball, but once they realized he had the ball, the Lakeville offensive line kept grinding and kept pushing Bastier along, and the Eagan defenders did not rally as well as probably they could or should have that time, and that's why 2 yards becomes 8 yards.
Yep. 3rd and short, Cougars. Haglund. Yeah, he's going to be close to the sticks. I think it's going to be 4th and short.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think it is going to be 4th and short. The question becomes whether that's going to make, what that really means going forward. As you see them driving, I mean, that's the kind of –
That's the Bastier run.
Yeah, that is the Bastier run. That's the kind of drive and push that you need. I think if you're Eagan here on 4th down, you've got to attack that line of scrimmage really, really hard. In other words, you've got to have the collision between you and the offensive lineman occur on his side of the line of scrimmage.
And do that without jumping.
That's right.
We've got a whistle timeout taken by the Eagan Wildcats. Their first timeout taken it tonight.
I like this idea. I like the idea of taking a defensive timeout. I've said it before, Mike, but defensive timeouts are great for level setting guys, giving guys an extra chance to rest, making sure that your defensive assignments are correct, and making sure they realize and understand that they need to stay low, they need to keep driving, they need to anticipate that snap count. So far, Lakeville South's been running on fairly quick counts, not long counts. So, in this situation, the odds of them picking up a first down are pretty high anyway because it is so 4th and so short, with a quarterback sneak. So why not try to jump that a little bit and see if you can cause some mayhem.
See Ben Burke, the Lakeville South coach in the white jacket, walking off. Ben, who took over about a month ago after Tyler Krebs resigned mid-season after some off-the-field issues, shall we say. Temporarily suspended from his teaching position. But credit to Lakeville South. They've overcome that. And I know where Shabazz said, we're a band of brothers, and that has just made us stronger this season. Look at that tight package. Shabazz.
I'm not sure he got there.
I'm not sure. That was Sorensen that busted through.
He is short. They're marking him short of the 10-yard line.
That is a huge stop for Sorensen and the Wildcats.
Wow.
Defensive play of the year right there?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Look at that package they run. And look at Sorensen just bounce in. He took him right out.
That was a giant load right package by Lakeville South. Lakeville South absolutely was going to mow over whoever was on that right side of that line, yet somehow those Wildcats fired through the line and made a nice tackle. And that time, to their credit, the defense wrapped up, rolled their hips, and made a good tackle and had some help to rally to make sure he didn't get that on second effort. How many times have you seen a back get stopped right near the sticks, but then second effort pushes him over? Wow, as you say, that is the defensive play of the year.
Yeah, I'd say without a doubt right now.
It's up to these guys on offense to get something going here, Mike.
I was just looking down. They've got 5 drives. They've punted 3 times. Bad fake punt, and then they fumbled on the first play. Gugino, he's going down far side. And intended receiver too far for Oland. Coverage back there by number 11, who we've not yet. I don't think we mentioned Daniel Alto tonight for the Lakeville South Cougars, number 11, who Coach Burke said probably one of their most improved players on this season.
Yeah, Coach Burke before the game singled him out and said he's one of the guys who's really been a big contributor for us and has really accepted his role and done a lot of great things for the team. Obviously, it's easier to play football when you're winning all your games rather than losing all your games. And so, but to be fair, it takes a lot to improve as an individual.
2nd and 10 for the Cats after going for it all there on first down. A little misdirection. Here's Olin, and gets gets back to the 8. He's going to probably, he lost about 3, I'm going to say, on that play. Read extremely well by Lakeville South.
Well, it was read well, and I'm going to level with you. I don't know that it was blocked all that well. It wasn't blocked poorly, but it wasn't blocked well enough for them to get the yards that they needed. There was some misdirection, and the Lakeville defenders were moving to the right, and with Olin coming around to the left, he should have had some room, but we just didn't get the block at the point of attack.
Yeah, didn't get a real good look. It was either Malman or Jukel on the stop there for Lakeville South. Either one of those guys, highly unlikely you're going to get around them.
No.
So as it is 3rd and 12, Eagan looking to do something then. Their 6th offensive series of the night. Here's Gugino from his own end zone. Look out. He's going to get one aired out. And there's Brecky. Brecky to the house. Touchdown, Panthers. Brecky's 2nd of the quarter.
Well, it's a case of a quarterback trying to make a play, probably trying just as hard as he can to make that play, and unfortunately it didn't work that time. I mean, he puts a ball in and says he's asking his receiver to go get it. You see Gugino takes a step back. He doesn't see anybody. He rolls out to the right. He's being pressured. He does heave it. He doesn't have a chance to set his feet, and he just needs a receiver to make a play, and that time full credit to Brecky. He's the one who made the play.
I was just going to say, he's out there playing center field basically. We get another look at it here from the end zone cam. I don't know how well we can see it there, but yeah, there's Olson again, by the way, PAT. And that one again.
No good.
He missed that one. Okay, I thought he snuck it in. Bottom line is it's now 21-0 Lakeville South. And the way this game's going, I'm not sure that mixed PAT is really going to matter, but we talked about earlier, you got to make sure you have stuff like that for the postseason.
Yeah, there's no margin for error in the postseason, and Lakeville South clearly is a team that's going to make some noise in the postseason, and they need to make sure that 2 things. Number 1, they don't get stopped on 4th and short.
True.
And number 2, they got to make sure when they score, they get an extra point, hit the extra point.
Well, we mentioned the postseason. It's Wednesday night. We've been told, if you're watching us live, which we're glad you're with us first off, so thanks for that. Check the State High School League site tomorrow when these sections are going to be announced. For 9-man through 5A, and then the whole sub-district 6A. Who knows where they're going, kind of thing. But we know for sure Lakeville South will be at home next. It's going to be on Friday, the 25th, and we know the Wildcats are going on the road. And talking to Coach Nick Johnson, the guess is that it's going to be somewhere north or west. So it could be top-ranked Wayzata. It could be Champlin Park, who is ranked number 4. Centennial, Totino Grace are going to be in the mix for a top seed up in that part of the metro area. But check the State High School League site, and, of course, check the Eagan High School site. I'm sure it'll be updated once more is known. Hard to believe we're about 6 weeks away from the Prep Bowl.
That's amazing. It's amazing how time flies. The fall is a magical time where you start with the slowness of heat, and you end with the quickness of cold, and it's something that makes you feel, it makes you age, whether it means to or not.
Like their version of a skull chant there by the pajama party down in the Eagan pit. Just going to say a quick, you mentioned state tournaments and stuff. Soccer, the final 8 are known in each class. Congratulations to the Lakeville South boys and girls teams, both making it to the state tournament. The boys beat Mayo 4-1, and the girls beat New Prague 4-0 to make it to the state soccer tournament, which will begin next week. And look at that run by the Wildcats out to the 31-yard line. Danko for the Wildcats, finally taken down out there by Cardis. But a nice play for the Wildcats, 14 yards on first down.
And that is how you run the option. We've seen option tonight where it's been blocked poorly, and we've seen option where it's been blocked well, but we've had trouble with the exchange. Watch Danko coming into your screen. What an excellent job there by Gugino to sell it. Obviously, Gugino's done a nice job running the ball in the last handful of weeks. So that time, everyone's sucked in. Danko takes the pitch, turns immediately at full speed, and makes some big yards.
Fresh set it up for the Cats. Their second of the ball game. Again, Gugino, long count. Williams on the toss. Read well by Lakeville North. Lakeville South, check that. First man in, Jack Malinsky. I mentioned inadvertently said North there, and I was talking to Lakeville South former head coach Larry Thompson, still part of the program for the Cougars, and good to see Larry out there. He's been involved in football in Lakeville for more than 40 years probably.
Well, I've got a theory, Mike, and that is that coaches that coach that long, it becomes part of them to the point where, life without football would effectively be like cutting off a part of their body. They just can't deal without it. I mean, they love it so much. They love the kids. They love being out here. They love the experience, and coaches like Coach Thompson bring a lot to the table.
But one of the things I had mentioned was, it's been 15 years since Lakeville South opened. 2005. Doesn't seem like it's been that long. Was kind of my point to him, and he kind of agreed with me. Williams, by the way, in the carry for the Wildcats.
And you know what, Mike? I'm going to I called out Williams earlier for not hitting the line hard. That time he hit the line hard.
He did.
He hit the line hard with a good head of steam. Watch him come right to the left side of your screen there. And he hits the ball, hits it hard, keeps his legs moving, and gets 5 yards. And that's how you run the ball, young man. Excellent job.
3rd down and about 6 as we're just past the halfway point, second quarter. 21-0 Lakeville South. Cats looking for their 3rd first down of the ball game. It's Gugino looking to throw. He's got time. And just off the hands of his intended receiver. And that is Evans. Good coverage over there by number 25, Hank English, for the Cougars. But that's a pass that could have been made.
The pass was made. The pass was
made.
I
should rephrase that. Completed.
Yeah. Completed, yes. Yeah. The pass was made. There wasn't anything wrong with the pass. The catch needs to happen there, and obviously Evans is going to think about that when he watches the film, and he's going to say, "Geez, I got to get that one." He'll get it next week, but he's got to make the offense has got to make those kinds of catches and those kinds of plays. That's a first down we just dropped.
Olin to kick it away. Should be returnable if it gets to him, but it does not. It goes out of bounds. Shabazz was well away from it. First man down for the Wildcats, by the way, was Micah Madio. I don't think we've really mentioned him much this year. Or Madio, I stand corrected. But he's a junior on that special teams. Nice job hustling down on that play.
Yeah, definitely have a place on this squad come next year.
Yep.
So the Independent School District 196 is asking voters whether to revoke to the district's existing bond levy referendum authorization. And there's a big vote on Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. All we're going to ask you to do is get out and vote. Make sure you make your voice heard. And obviously, take a look at the website, the District 186 website, for more details.
There's also a school board election as part of that.
There is.
I think there's, I believe, a dozen candidates. And I saw there was a forum that the district held. It was televised or recorded. My guess is it'll show up on ATV at some point. But also, you said district196.org. I'm sure we'll be having that available on their site as well. So, again, we don't care who you vote for, if you vote yes or no on the referendum, but just get out there and exercise your right.
Now, I will say this. When I was a kid, we had activity buses after school for middle school and high school sports where we were in activities. And those went away a number of years ago. My understanding, as I'm looking at this fact sheet, is that those will be back.
That's what they say.
If this vote passes. So, for parents out there who have challenges getting kids to and from school, from home from school after activities. And for kids who's one of the barriers to being in extracurricular activities, whether it's sports or fine arts or music, if one of those barriers is the ability to get home or get home after school, think carefully about how you want to handle that.
The 11-yard pickup there for Shabazz as the pile kept moving, 11 yards. 5 minutes to go here, second quarter. All Lakeville South, they're up 21-0. Fake, Patterson looking to the air. He's looking to go deep as well. He's got his man. Little spin move by Geary down inside the 10. 5, touchdown Geary. 39 yards on the score. 27-0 Cougars.
Well, Eagan had a chance in the backfield to try to make this play, but excellent pass, stayed in the air a long time. I'm not quite sure what the Eagan defensive secondary seemed to lose Geary as he was going out in the pattern. They caught up to him, but unfortunately at that point the damage had been done.
27-0 South, and there's still 4:50 to go here. Yeah, there's Bastier. He had a run early in that drive, and we've got whistles as Olson kicks it. Yeah, it was Geary with the touchdown reception. It's our first penalty of the game.
believe it. Certainly first accepted. Yeah, it's first penalty of the game.
We've had more timeouts taken than penalties.
Wow. Now what's interesting here is this almost has to be against Eagan, doesn't it?
I would think so. Encroachment on the Wildcats. Now does that change? Well, I would imagine South is going to go for 2 now. Hey, quick shout out, by the way, that referee right there, Ed Keys, had a couple of sons that went through the Eagan High School football program. Good to see Ed out there. He said one of his sons, I believe he said it was, if I get this straight, Ryan is over in London and Ross is working in the medical field down in the Nashville area.
Well, I'm sure they're watching right now.
Oh, I'm sure in London
I'm
I'm sure. What is it, 1 a.m. in London?
Wouldn't you stay up late for this? Watch Dad referee on ETV?
Enjoying a pint? No, I think the English, they're out of that other kind of football. The kind where you kick it like that way downfield to your teammates. And so 28-0 Lakeville South. And the Cougars this quarter have scored 3 touchdowns. Brecky on a 27-yard reception, Brecky on a 24 pick 6, and then Geary from 39. And you look back at their first quarter score, it was a 35-yard pass to Brecky that set up the 1-yard run for Hageland.
You know,
so one of the Cougars scoring from way out.
They are scoring from way out, but they're also scoring through the air, Mike.
Yes.
And that's something that, as you pointed out last week, they ran the football. Now, some of that had to do with the conditions,
yes,
certainly, and some of it had to do with the success they were having and the score they had. But you know, they attempted 2 passes last week. Well, this week they've clearly shown that they can throw out of their tight formations, and so that's, if you're watching film on Lakeville South, you're saying, okay, shoot, now what are we going to do? You know, now we got to figure out how we're going to play this defense.
Yep.
We got to make sure that our defensive backs are not 5 yards off the ball to play the run. Now they got to be 8, 10, 12 yards back. Now we have to have our corners stay out wide. Now and so what that does is it changes things for you as your coach, as you're looking and getting prepared to play Lakeville South.
You know, in Lakeville South, as our friends from Eastview know all too well, They beat Eastview on a pass in the final minute of that game. Earlier in the year back down at Lakeville South High School. Against Eastville was Brecky with a reception. And interesting, the one loss for Lakeville South this year was Rosemont blocked a kick at the gun. It would have tied that football game, so the Irish went down there and won 17-14. So 4:50 to go. Cats are going to start from their own 20 again. So the Cats' last 4 drives, including this one, they started at their 20, their 17, their 11, and their 20.
It's not a recipe for success, Mike.
Lakeville South this quarter started on the Eagan 39, the Eagan 20, and their own 35, and then you throw in a pick 6 as well. Yep. Field position, I would say definitely going Cougars' way.
Yep.
So 4:50 to go. See if the Cats can get something going here before halftime. See if we get at least something going tonight. Not going to happen on that play. Gugino, I think, thought about the pitch, trying to run the option, but read extremely well by the Cougars from Lakeville South. Molesky, I believe, first man in there, number 46. Watching from his nose tackle position, just tries to bounce out. Actually, he did not get on the stop. It was Aaron Holtz, check that. And 20 in there as well. That was Molinsky, not Molesky.
Well, the Wildcats have got to make sure they're staking on those blocks. I mean, we talk about stopping the helmet, Mike, and what I mean is if you stop someone's momentum, even if you don't drive them back, but if you stop their momentum, the odds of them getting enough momentum back to be able to be in the play are much, much lower than are really low. I'll say it that way.
Gugino, he'll pitch. Finds his brother Gavin. Wrapped up by Malman, gets some help. Ball comes loose. And they're going to roll him down. Ooh.
Well, the whistle.
Cats got a break, I think.
Well, they may have, but the whistle clearly blew, at least from where I'm sitting and from what I'm hearing. It blew before we saw the ball come out. Now, maybe even if we see a replay, we're probably not going to be able to hear the whistle. But ultimately, the whistle blows before anyone controls that ball. So, yeah, they may have caught a break, but like I said, how many breaks have they caught this year?
Let's see where his progress has stopped, because there's Malman. Gets in there.
Yep, I would say it's right about there.
You could argue that. Yeah.
Yep, and then the ball comes flying out the left side of your screen.
But you know what? If they called it a fumble, I think you could argue that as well.
Yeah.
3rd and long. Gugino across the middle, got his man Evans. Check that, Danko out to the 31-yard line. Pick up a 12. They only needed 11.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say something that might be a little bit shocking. I think Danko, so far anyway, we've seen him run that route maybe 2 or 3 times. Maybe I think 3 times now. He's been open every single time.
Yeah.
And if you're Eagan, you got to go back to that. In fact, I'd milk that. I mean, candidly, you have to milk that until it goes away.
Well, and even Evans has been open. He just happened to drop
Yep,
that one
that's
earlier.
True. That's true.
Gavin Gugino in motion. He'll get the pitch from his brother. And he'll get a couple of yards before he's wrapped up over there on that far side. Malinsky, number 20, the tackle for the Lakeville South Cougars. They're going to say about 3 on that play. And there's Brecky in there again, number 2, the do-it-all guy for Lakeville South. We'll say 3 on that play. Just over 2 minutes to go in the half. Cats do have 2 timeouts. Goes Danko. Evans gets the football and sets up 3rd and long. Good coverage, good pressure that time by Lakeville South. Looked like number 10 was the first man in. That's Patterson.
Well, if Lakeville South is jumping that outside run, that counter should be there. And I wish I could, I wish I had a better vantage point necessarily from where I'm sitting, because it seems like that he's being met in the hole by a linebacker, and I have to think that guy's supposed to be blocked, or at least have somebody assigned to him. But if you're a defense, you can't, theoretically anyway, unless you've got great players that are just so far above everyone else. You can't play the outside and still be able to cover the counter. You have to pick your poison on some level, and that time Lakeville South's found a way around it.
I can stand correct. That had to be Malinsky on the tackle. 20, not 10. There's that wide. There's Williams open near side. First down Wildcats. Near the 50, across the 50-yard line. Nice effort by Williams to pick up about an extra 7 yards. 16-yard pickup for the Cats.
Yeah, excellent effort by Williams that time. Great pass by Gugino, giving Williams a ball he could handle, giving Williams an opportunity to make a play with his feet.
Fresh set it down from the 49. Clock stops briefly, and we're down to a minute to go. Clock did stop while they moved the chains. Gugino pitch, Evans. 2-yard pickup, and I would assume the Cats are taking a timeout here. Well, Cats going to hurry it up instead. Nope, now we got a timeout taken by the Wildcats. That took an extra 5 or 6 seconds at least.
Yeah,
if you're going to call it, you got to call it.
Yeah, I think that the safe play there might have been to call it right away. Look, I mean, Eagan has so far this season, we have not had opportunities, very many opportunities to A, run a 2-minute offense, and B, then when we've had those opportunities, we haven't always been super successful. In this situation, because it's something in theory every team's going to work on, every team's going to practice, but at the same time, if you don't practice it in games, you don't get an opportunity to really put it into practice. I mean, like I said earlier, Mike, doing something in a game, in a practice, working on your coverages, working on place kicking, things like that, that's one thing. But in a game, it's a whole other deal. Yep. Working on 2-minute offense against Lakeville South is a whole different deal than working on a 2-minute offense against random scout team. Yep.
You saw a couple of the student managers out there in their pajamas, shall we say, and it truly is. It is a pajama party in the pit tonight. It's like, so 2nd and 9. You see the time remaining here in the opening half. Cats with 1 timeout left. South still has all 3. If they choose to do something, if the Cats do something here, they'll keep the clock moving. And that one's thrown away, so the clock is going to stop. Advantage South, as Gugino forced to throw that one away.
Well, Egan's going to watch out here. That time, it sure looked like Malman was maybe the victim of a hold.
Oh, intentional grounding, by the way.
Oh, they are going to call intentional grounding. Okay, so I was going to
2 steps
grounding
forward.
On the quarterback of Eagan, 5 yards, loss of down.
So we got a 5 yards and loss of down, and
right.
It could have been 10 yards and another down because think there's some holding going on. I mean, look, the Lakeville South defensive line knows you're going to throw the football. They're going to come full speed. They're not going to worry about, gap control or running the ball or anything like that. So you got, if you're an offensive lineman, you really got to buckle your chin strap here and give Ethan Gugino a little bit more time. Now, it's only 3rd and 14. There's 37.5 seconds left. You've still got one timeout. I'm sure Eagan still would like to go down the field. They're not giving up on this drive.
Oh, absolutely. But do you run it here, at least force South to use one of their 3 timeouts? Then a complete pass. Do you really want to give South the ball with 25 seconds? We're going to find out because Gugino drops. Just lobs one up there into coverage, and it's knocked down at the 40-yard line. Oland out there for the Wildcats. Robinson. And looks like 11 and 20. That was Otto and Malinsky for the Cougars.
Mike, this is, as much as we want, kids to play in certain positions and things like that, this is a situation where I think the Eagan offense does miss Derek Hansen. When he hurt his hand, played defensive end. He's been playing defensive end ever since, and good player at defensive end. But gosh, we could use a 6'4" kid to jump for some of these jump balls.
Cifuentes actually the kicker that time. And South's going to get the football back at about just outside their 25-yard line. 3 timeouts and 23.5 ticks. As you look at the pajama party going on here at Eagan High School on the final home game of the 2019 season. And again, maybe not bad. Give Shabazz no opportunity on that return. And so 23.4. Do the Cougars just take a knee?
Unfortunately, with Egan's propensity to give up big plays at the end of halves, if I was Lakeville South, I would run the football right at him.
I'd throw it.
Or throw it.
Shabazz. Check that. No, that's Haglund out to the 47 of Eagan. That's a 28-yard pickup. Timeout Cougars, I would assume.
And the defense, obviously, the defense has been out there a fair amount. It is probably on the tired side. Way too many missed tackles. Way too, just way too scattered. This might be a situation where we talked earlier.
Interesting. The clock is running, by the way.
They didn't take a timeout?
No. Interesting. Neither Cougars don't look like they're in a hurry to head to the locker room. I'm not sure. Was there some confusion? Cats are heading to the locker room. I don't know if Ben Burke will have a word with the officials or anything, but that surprises me they didn't go for it. But bottom line is, at the half, it's the Lakeville South Cougars 28, Eagan Wildcats nothing. We're going to take ourselves a little bit of a break, and we'll be back for second half action here on ETV.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think being part, the Green Steps program sounds like a great idea.
Really, I think goes to show that we're committed to helping reduce carbon emissions in the city. Even though we can't go tomorrow and replace every one of our city vehicles with an electric vehicle, we wanted to provide support to show that the city is investing.
I don't know how many times we've gone to a house fire, report of a house fire, and somebody said, you know, I open up all the windows to let the smoke out. Well, that's the wrong thing to do because you're letting all the oxygen in. Or I open up the doors so you know you can let the smoke out. You want to keep everything closed. The more doors you keep closed, and the more compartmentized your house is, the better it's going to be in a fire situation. You're going to minimize the damage, and you're going to, more importantly, buy some time to either get out of the house or wait for us to get there and help rescue you. So you've seen in the dollhouse example today that when they introduce oxygen, you can have that flashover, which is a big flame coming out of the opening, and that can severely burn somebody. If you see somebody's house on fire, there's no reason to try to run in. Call 911, be a good witness when we get there, tell us what you seen, what you did, if you know the neighbors are home, if they're gone. But be a good witness when first responders come. But keeping everything closed up is going to help us buy a few extra minutes to get in the house and safely rescue somebody. It's going to minimize damage to your house. It's just going to make it a lot safer for everybody.
How would you improve Eagan's trails and sidewalks? We have more than 160 miles of trails and sidewalks in Eagan. We are building more to better serve you. Please give us suggestions.
Eagan already has a great trails and park system. We really want to use this to improve that.
How do you like to use trails and sidewalks? What new ones will help? Connect to suggest new connections and more at cityofeagan.com/trailplan.
Go ahead and open really big. I'm working on tiny little teeth and little patients, and so yeah, the details there. I have a son in college, and he just moved into an apartment a year ago. And he's like, yeah, but I don't want anything ordinary or normal. He sent me via text a section of a topographical map of the moon. And he said, can you do something to kind of match this? Just that quilting's fun. It's a nice way to relax. It's a creative and a great hobby.
Somebody save your soul, 'cause you've been sinning in the city. I know too many troubles, all these lovers got you losing control. You like a drug to me, a luxury, my sugar and gold. I want the good life every good night, you're a hot one to hold. 'Cause you don't even know, I can make your hands clap. Said I can make your hands clap. Somebody save your soul, 'cause you've been sinning in the city. I know too many troubles, all these lovers got you losing control. You like a drug to me, a luxury, my sugar and gold. I want your sex and your affection when they're holding you close. 'Cause you don't even know, I can make your hands clap. Said I can make your hands clap.
the Eagan Wildcats competition dance team and their mini clinic dancers. 80 mini clinic dancers. The future stars of Eagan Wildcats dance team. Great job. And continuing with tonight's halftime, please welcome to the field the Wildcats Eagan High School Varsity Marching Band. Tonight, the Eagan Varsity Marching Band takes the field for the final time this season. Led by drum majors Victoria James, Livy Johnson, and Sophie Stein, the Varsity Marching Band began their season on August 5th and have already enjoyed 2 terrific performance seasons. Our show begins with a hit from 2006 by Robert Randolph and the Family Band off their album Colorblind, and featuring some formation design of the band's logos. Here is the Eagan Varsity Marching Band with Ain't Nothing Wrong With That. For our next song, the Varsity Marching Band unearths a song from a film that has cultivated a cult-like following. Shortly after the Rocky Horror Picture Show was released into theaters in 1975, audiences became infamous for their interactions with the movie as it was playing. Theaters today still draw the hooligans out as they dance, sing, and shout along during their occasional and notorious midnight showings. Let's keep the tomfoolery and skullduggery to a minimum as the Varsity Marching Band plays and dances to the Time Warp. Before we play our final selection, we would like to take a moment to recognize a special group of band members on the field tonight. 38 of our members will be graduating at the conclusion of their senior year next June, and tonight they are performing at their final home game of their high school careers. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in recognizing these 38 senior band members. Congratulations, seniors. Our final song this evening brings us to one of the great TV theme songs of all time. While in charge of the 5-0 Task Force, Lieutenant Commander Steve McGarrett leads his team, including Danny, Chin Ho, and Kono, in fighting crime in Hawaii. The show was popular enough to warrant a rebirth of the series in 2010, which is now in its 10th season. Whether you are a fan of the original or the remake, one thing has remained true: the music is a hit. To close our show tonight, please enjoy the groovin' theme song that is as recognizable as any as the Varsity Marching Band performs Hawaii 5-0. Varsity Marching Band with Hawaii 5-0. Thank you for your support and enthusiasm. The Eagan High School Varsity Marching Band was directed by drum majors Victoria James, Livy Johnson, and Sophie Stein. Band directors Brett Benson, Doug Hart, and Michael Pearson wish to thank the Eagan High School administration and the Eagan High School band parents for their support.
We welcome you back inside Wildcat Country, where teams are also getting ready for second half action. At the half, it's the Lakeville South Cougars, the Eagan Wildcats, nothing. I'm Mike Cook, Nathan Cron with us, Josh Sibley, and the cast of thousands helping out on the broadcast tonight. We're happy to bring you the action here on ETV. And Nathan, we saw it's a lot of what we've seen for Eagan a lot this year. A couple of good plays offset by a couple of negative plays, and there's the score that we have.
Well, it's a situation where Eagan, the score is not indicative necessarily of how well Eagan's competed at times in this game. On the other hand, the other side of it is the score usually is indicative of overall how you've played, right? As you said, there have been times when Eagan has been successful. They have moved the football. They've shown some propensity to actually, move this ball up and down the field a little bit. They clearly, on defense, have been able to do something to Lakeville South. They've forced Lakeville South punts, and that's something that's, I don't think a lot of folks coming into this football game would have assumed that Lakeville South would have punted, I think 3 times in the first half. Yep. That's a lot of punts for a team that's ranked number 2 in the state. So, ultimately though, it's Eagan again, struggling with making mistakes that they can't afford to make, Mike, and that's unfortunately the reality that has been their season all season long.
Yep. Two punts officially for the Cougars.
Two punts.
And as you said, the number 2 ranked Cougars. As we said, this is the last regular season game of the year. So Friday night, I believe it's the 25th, will be first round for the Class 6A schools. We know Lakeville South will be at home. Who they play it's up in the air. And obviously Eagan is going to be heading on the road, and we're guessing it could be a Wyzetta, a Champlin Park, a Totino Grace. We know they cannot go to South the way everything is set up, but the coaches' seatings happen tomorrow morning. So check out the high school league website, mshsl.org. They do a pretty good job of getting those brackets up as soon as they're known. 9-man through 5A, they start next Tuesday already. So, and then the 6As are Fridays, and here we go on the road to the bank. And Lakeville South got there last year, lost to North in a semi that, we tell you what a huge crowd, though. I think almost the entire city of Lakeville was at that game.
Oh, I'm sure.
The excitement, sure. It was great to see.
I'm sure. I know I work in my professional life with a number of folks that live in Lakeville. Their kids go to the Lakeville schools, middle schools, elementary schools, even a few in the high school, and the various high schools. And it's an intense rivalry between the two schools. Coach Burke was talking to us before the game about how a lot of these kids know each other, or they have friends or people they know on the other side. It's not a bunch of nameless, faceless people. What's always interesting to me is when you have a rivalry, and when you have a rivalry, who are the ones with the chip on their shoulder the most, right? Who are the ones who feel like they've been slighted the most, or who are the ones that feel like the underdogs all the time? And I think historically that's been South.
Yes,
historically that has been South, but this year beating North, that helps change things. It's kind of like back, before the Red Sox won their first World Series in 2003 or whatever. They talked about the rivalry between the Yankees and the Reds. Won anything,
right?
So it always makes you kind of it's tense and it's intense, but the reality of it is it's not really a rivalry. So now it's fair to say that Lakeville South definitely introduced themselves with some force to the Lakeville rivalry, and we'll see how that develops over the next 10 years.
I thought it was interesting, too, when we talked to Coach Burke before the game, we'd asked about, do you sense a difference in the team or anything? And he's, on the field, no, but you could see him just walking through the hall a little bit. Sure, once those letters come out, a little extra walking around, that kind of thing. But, again, that kind of rivalry. And as you said, both got to make their.
That's right.
I should mention freshman third from here today. Last report, the Lakeville South fresh team was up. They've 40-something to think over the Eagan team. So I didn't get the exact number, 46, I was told. Rough squads. Game.
They did.
And good to see within the Wild for the South Cougars, and they'll start at their own 40. Had the football youth league championships were last weekend.
They were.
Understand was it the 7th graders from Eagan won?
7th grade, the 8th graders were in the semifinals. The 2 5th and 6th grade teams were in the semifinals on different sides in the same semifinal. and then the 7th graders did win the championship. So yeah.
So congrats to them. We mentioned them last week. I believe Patrick Evans, I think we said, was their coach. So congrats to those guys. And Lakeville South, first carry of the second half. Bastyr, 20, 15, 10, 5, 6 points South. 60 yards, Bastyr.
Well, that play was designed to go out to the side. It was go around left end, and there was a good bit of blocking, but credit to Eagan, they snuffed it out, and they made him turn back inside. And when he turned back inside, the pursuit from the backside just wasn't there. There was just no pursuit there, and no support. And so you shrug your shoulders. I mean, that's the kind of, it's a situation where Eagan does something right. They contain the ball, they keep the ball inside. They're just that particular time. There was no pursuit from the inside.
4th touchdown of the year for Bastyr. Came into this game 61 carries for 332 yards. Olsen, plenty of leg, plenty of height, and plenty of accuracy. 35-0 South. Shabazz came in as the leading rusher for the Cougars with 561. Riley Hagelin in the 464 range. As you look at Bastyr, adding 60 to his total. Just a nice cutback move, and then it's just a foot race. But this Lakeville South, they've been averaging almost 30 points a game this season, but if you look at their last 3, averaging over 43 points a game. And the wins over Prior Lake, Lakeville North, and Farmington. None of those teams are slouches.
No, and the easiest way, Mike, to score points, the safest way to score points is to run the football.
Yep.
And that's what they did there. There was nothing fancy about that play. There was not really a lot of misdirection, nothing super fancy or unusual. I'm sure Egan's seen that play on film 5 times already. But they have to make the tackles. You have to. It's one thing to know it's coming. It's another thing to stop it.
So Olin and Bartle back deep for the Wildcats. Olsen to kick it off for the Cougars. He's put a couple into the end zone already tonight. So he's that big, strong leg. Olin, that right foot on the goal line. So the Cats will start at their own 20-yard line. All of 18 seconds elapsed here in the second half. 35-0 Cougars. Well, I would imagine if you're Lakeville South, maybe you keep your starters out here in one series, maybe 2 more, and then give some kids an opportunity. And I know they've done that in past weeks. I think you've seen what you've wanted to see tonight from your defense, and I mean, really at this point you're down 35-0, or you're up 35-0, and I think the only thing you've really got to fear is an injury, right?
Yeah, you definitely don't want anybody to get hurt. Hamstrings, calf muscles, ankle sprains. Those can be just as debilitating as a knee injury. You want to keep that. You want to protect that.
Gugino to Evans, minus on that team, along with Malou tonight. -3 or -2 for Wildcats on that one. So we got a 20 in there for the Wildcats. Dylan Gifford, we haven't called him a whole lot this year. A little bit we've seen of him, though. I like what I've seen. Kind of come out of the backfield a couple times on little swing passes. And see if he gets a little more playing time. Straight ahead, Williams. Good surge that time by the O-line. 35-yard line. Or check that, 25-yard line. 8-yard pickup for the Wildcats.
Well, if they can put that in a bottle and sell it, they'll be millionaires, because that was fantastic. Williams, again, was hard on the young man earlier about hitting that hole hard. That time he hit the hole hard, and guard set between the guards. That was an excellent surge, as you said, Mike, from the offensive line. I don't know that Lakeville still has their starters in. They're down there grinding, so I think they maybe that took them by surprise. Maybe they didn't expect that.
Yeah. Like I said, maybe one more series. Who knows? We'll find out as we go along. Gugino's going to go left. He's got Williams for the pitch. He gives it to Williams, and he gets upended far side. Nice tackle by number 21 for the Cougars. That's Dean Cardis up from the secondary.
Well, a nice play by Gugino. He's wrapped up. He's going down, and he makes the pitch. And the pitch is on target, and it gives Williams an opportunity, even though he didn't get the first down, gives him an opportunity to try to turn that corner. So excellent job that time, being smart with the football, not turning it over, but good job by Williams staying in good pitch relationship.
So the Cats to punt it away, apparently. So Fuentes the punter. Shabazz deep for the Cougars. They'll kick it away from him, and Lakeville South will start at about their own. It's like the 39-yard line is where the official will stop on that far side with 9:26 to go in the third. .926 we said time remaining. 35-0 Lakeville South. I'll try to see if the Cougars have a lot of the starting numbers in there. It appears that way. Yep, Patterson's still at quarterback. Well, I suppose that last drive took one play for 60 yards. I want to give your offense a little more second half action. That's Hagelin that time, the ball carrier for the Cougars. Picks up about 3. I like that. It was number 75 blocking downfield for Lakeville South. Kyle Lattery, 6'2", 275 on the O-line there. You see him in the middle. That's a big boy. His older brother played at South. I think Coach Burke said he went up to Duluth to play some college football. Far side, hey. Actually, that's straight ahead. That's Shabazz. 57-yard touchdown for Johnny Shabazz. 41-0 Cougars.
Oh, we got a flag on the play, Mike. I wonder if this might be coming back. There might be a hold down the field. Not that it still wasn't an excellent run and an explosive run by Shabazz, but there might be a hold here in the middle of the field. Yeah, right there. Isaac Oland was absolutely manhandled and taken down by the blocker that had hands on both sides of his body, had handfuls of jerseys on both sides of his body. So, yeah, that's a good call by the officials.
Keep an eye on Levin in blue as he was the party that was held. Can't quite see it there.
Yeah, you can't see him there. You had him on the first replay for the first angle but great looking run by Shabazz. Just unfortunately, that one's going to come back.
So instead, it's going to be ball back to the Eagan 48-yard line. It is a fresh set of downs, I believe, for the Cougars.
Yeah, you're right. They still got the first down.
Right, because it's 10 yards from the spot of the foul in high school.
Yep, that's right.
8:46 clock is stopped. South well in control of this one. Patterson throw it near side. That's Geary. He had a reception for a touchdown in the last quarter. And fights his way down to about the 35-yard line. Wallach in there after the initial stop by Bartle. Sticks are going to move once again for the Cougars. 13 yards on that reception.
It wouldn't shock me if Lakeville South goes right back to the play that Shabazz scored on. They obviously blocked it up well, and they've got Egan's number on it. Give the kid the option to try to pop one again because clearly it's working for him.
Patterson and the Cougars, you called it. It's right there. Shabazz. Sorensen grabs him. Yeah, still gets another couple of yards out of that, does Shabazz, the senior ball carrier. Sorensen, nice job of hanging on, however. Got a little help in there from Morgan Evans, among others.
I wonder, Riley Hagelin around the end. Watch the top of your screen. You can kind of see him disappearing on the top of your screen there. He carries out his fake almost 20 yards down the field. No one's around him, but he runs out the fake anyway. That's a well-drilled team. That's a lot of credit. You give a lot of credit to that young man.
Here's Bastier tripped up. Should be enough to move the sticks. It's funny, that one Shabazz busted that got called back. I bid on the fake with Hagelin and was watching him until we looked down, and as you said, he was 10, 15 yards downfield on that one as well. So,
yeah,
as you said, total credit to that youngster.
Well, and it's obviously, look, it's not by accident. Players are good players, but they're not making this stuff up, when they wake up. They just wake up in the morning and say, hey, I think I'll carry out my fake 20 yards down the field. This is well coached by a good coaching staff.
Absolutely. 5 yards, first down, and inside handoff. This is Brecky. Bounces to the outside. And Brecky to the house, but the coaches up here are oohing and eyeing. I think that was in joy. It wasn't a flag.
Well, Lakeville South coaching staff very excited to watch Brecky score a touchdown.
Sounded almost more like groans initially up here. But yeah, there's Brecky. Cuts it to the outside.
Maybe they need more fiber in their diet.
41-0 South. That's the third of the game for Brecky. This is that one from 24. So Brecky now has, I don't even call it a hat trick. He's got a rushing, a receiving, and a pick six. And Olsen makes it 42-0 South.
Well, in Lakeville, maybe they can call it a Brecky hat trick. You know.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if he's ever done it before, but
yeah,
if he's done it more than once, you can call it a Brecky hat trick.
Yeah, I think all he needs is a kick or punt return, but I'm going to guess he can pretty much put his helmet on the bench because I would imagine we're going to see a lot of fresh faces.
I'd be disappointed if we didn't.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it too. Let's talk a little bit better sport activity for the Wildcats. The Eagan volleyball team, 21-0. They swept Farmington last night. They've got one more match, I believe, tomorrow night with EP. And then their sections are going to be starting up and on the road to the X. I saw Lakeville South. They're ranked 10th in the state. They beat Eastview 3-1 last night. And but they had a rough weekend at the Apple Valley Invite last weekend, just 1-4 at the Eagle Invite. But they're still ranked 10. And again, that just shows you how tough this area is for volleyball. To north, south. Obviously, the Wildcats are the standard for just about everybody. And the Eagan swim team, by the way, beat Apple Valley 99-79 last night. Again, they continue in their strong season in the pool. And the Lakeville North girls beat the South girls in the pool 94-86 last night. And they're going to let this one be returned by Olin. I thought his foot touched the goal line. Oh, lost the football. Cougars say they have it. More Cougars say they have it. But coming up off the bottom of the pile.
I think it was Carson Kappas.
Yeah.
22 for Eagan.
That's what I think, too. I didn't see a signal behind the officials pointing either way, though. But, yeah, I agree. I thought it was Kappas.
Might have been Michael Murphy. I couldn't. But look, I think it was Kappas. Yeah, I think Kappas had that football.
Yeah, let's give Josh Jacobson credit there, number 30 for South. Reached in, punched that one away. One of the sophomores getting some time up on the varsity level.
Well, that's when you're a sophomore and you're playing on the number two-ranked team in the state. The only way you're going to get on the field most of the time is on special teams.
Yeah, pretty much.
But full credit to the young man for taking advantage, like you said, Mike, of doing something positive on special teams.
From their own 20 go the Wildcats. Starters still in there for Nick Johnson's squad. Gugino across the middle. Look out. Interception by the Cougars. Sam Gillette returns it down to about the 11-yard line. Just a nice job. I don't know if Gugino never saw him, but nice job Gillette just staying in the lane and rumbled his way down to the 12-yard line after the pick.
Well, one of the things that we talked about earlier in the first half, Mike, was the fact that Danko several times on those inside slants on the seams was open. You know that it was, you know, but that time, you know, Lakeville South clearly made an adjustment of some sort to drop somebody into coverage to take away that inside slant, and he read Gugino's eyes, I think, that time, and just followed the ball.
Camden Dean now in at quarterback for the Cougars, who appear to have set down most, if not all, of their starters. Get some new numbers we're going to learn here. From the 11. And that was number 14. The ball carrier was Matt Shegelkov. I bid on the fake. I thought it was 34 Donnelly that kept it, but it was Shegelkov. Number 14.
Well, you're not the only one, Mike. I was watching Donnelly around the side too. This offense is a lot of fun to watch. I mean, it's more fun to watch it either in slow motion.
6 yards on that play from the 5. Can get a first down without a touchdown, but they're going to get the touchdown. Number 44 that time, Bruce Mergen, the 5'7" junior, getting on the board for the Cougars. Well, there wasn't much of a crowd left on the home side tonight. I think a few more are going to head for the exits. I think look at that hole he got. Credit to the O-line.
Yeah, it was a big hole, but at the same time the Wildcat defenders were, I know that they've been out there a fair amount. They've been having to deal with this power running game all night, but they were catching blocks that time rather than attacking line of scrimmage.
Going for
and
two.
We're going for two.
And scoring on the 2-point conversion.
Yep.
Number 29, Tyzel White. My question would be why?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure there's
reasons.
I'm sure there's a reason, but
I would think.
I don't understand.
I mean, to me, with your kicking game, kind of, it's been. Olson's got obviously a strong leg, but he missed one earlier. So as you look at the home stands, yeah, the band is long gone. And see that press box there? You won't next year.
Well, you'll see a press box.
A press box. It won't be
this
that
won't be this
one.
press box.
That one's coming down before too long. The next one's going to be about 10 feet bigger. I know we're a 6A school, and you have a press box that admittedly is, I'd say, far from 6A standards when you look around other schools. But, yeah, look at the pit. It's a pajama party. Hey, they got nowhere to go tomorrow. It's MEA weekend.
That's right. I'm sure I can almost guarantee you there are a couple of after parties tonight, and the football players will enjoy some pizza, and the cheer squad will enjoy some pizza, and the booster club will do what it does to help take care of them, and it's going to be a good time.
Olson, plenty of leg. Eagan from their own 20, again. 6:25 to go in the third. 50-0. For those of you just tuning in, that is not a misprint. Lakeville South, which put 61 on the board a week ago against Farmington. 34 the week against Lakeville North. 35 before that against Prior Lake. It took them a while to get this offense humming this year, but they found it. And it looks like the starters are still in there for the Eagan offense. Gavin Gugino in motion. Will he get the pitch? Ethan Gugino, he'll keep it. Spins forward about the 32-yard line.
That's enough for a first down, Mike.
Yeah,
moves the sticks. I imagine, given that this is the last home game that the seniors will play, and the last home game, maybe even the last football game for a lot of these seniors here at home. I was forgetting about playoffs next week, but I imagine that Coach Johnson will leave these seniors in, let the upperclassmen play, and finish this thing out. Yeah. I mean, if this was the second game of the season, maybe they'd be playing other players, but I think we're going to let them finish it.
It's a very good point. We said it is senior night.
It is.
39 members between football players, cheer team, dance team, majorettes in the band. They all got honored before the game. There's a pitch. Gugino to Gugino. And gets out near the 38-yard. So a couple of starters still in there. Hayden Molesky that time. 6 actually made the stop. Clock continues to run. 6-yard pickup for the Cats. 2nd and 4.
And this is important not just because Eagan's the game. The result of this game is already a foregone conclusion, but getting ready for next week, Eagan could use some momentum here offensively.
Yep. Danko in motion, straight ahead, Williams. Nice little surge that time. That'll move the sticks. 73 on the stop for South. First time we've called him tonight. That's Leland. And out to the 42-yard line. First down. 5-yard pickup that time by Williams.
Pardon me, Mike.
I was going to say, good surge by the line that time.
Yeah, the line did give Williams an opportunity. He hit the line hard, and I think he's figured out that, hey, if I hit the line moving hard and not stutter or not look for a hole, if I just hit it hard, things are going to happen in front of me.
Carson Cooper, he'll snap it to Gugino. He'll come near side. He'll cut it up. Nice run by the senior quarterback into Lakeville South territory. It's going to be close to a first down. And looks like the spot they're going to give him, looks like 9 by Gugino. Nice run.
You're going to hear me nitpick a little bit, but I would love to see this football piece be a little bit closer to his body when he's in traffic. Now, I understand when you're running free, that's one thing, but when you're in traffic, get that ball a little bit closer to your stomach, maintain 5 points of contact so that you can do something to protect that football. I mean, look, we've got 2 first downs. Let's get a third.
2nd and 1. Some coaches would call this a free play.
I wouldn't. Not this year.
No, I was going to say that same thing. Here comes Williams. He'll bounce it outside. He'll cut up. That'll move the sticks down to the 44-yard line. Nice job by Williams. He got nearly tripped up in the backfield by, couldn't tell who that was for South initially. But Williams stays on his feet. And the senior gets down to the 45-yard line. Sticks are going to move.
Well, that's the second time I think Williams tonight has broken a tackle or two. So he's showing a propensity to do that. If he keeps that up, he's definitely going to see his share of work next week.
Yep. And they're going to need him next week, no matter.
That's right.
Let's face it, they're going to be heavy underdogs wherever they go. But to have any kind of chance, you're going to need the consistent play. And he'll get the pitch. He's got some room near side. 37-yard line. 8-yard pickup.
You know what I like about that play in particular, the way they ran it? Williams didn't hesitate at all. He took the pitch, and he's I'm not going to try to cut it up. I'm not going to try to beat somebody inside. I'm just going to use what I've got, my angle. Watch him come into your living room here. Gugino does a good job of selling this, making the pitch man commit to him, and then Williams doesn't even break stride. No. It was a good pitch, but he doesn't even break stride.
2nd and 2 as we're down to 3 minutes to go in the third. South well on their way to going to 7 and 1. Gugino, he'll keep it. Nice job bursting through the line for Lakeville South. That was 44, Mergen. And Gugino still falls. Oh, he's going to be just shy of the first down, actually. Thought he fell forward enough to get it. So 3rd and 1 for the Wildcats.
Well, you got 2 plays here, Mike, to get a yard and a half.
Yes.
Maybe 1 yard if you're being generous, but it looks like about a yard and a half to me. So I think if it's 4-down territory, you got 2 plays to make it. Run a quarterback sneak if you have to, but just get this first down.
Thought they got South player did get back. That was Mergen. And I think the Cats might have got away with a false. Nope, they got the flag. It was Cooper's going to get whistled. The Eagan center jumped.
Now
there's a false start.
There might have been. Yeah, looks like it was the wing on the left side. But here's the thing: he's coming back in. Yep. That's unfortunate for Eagan.
It is
because they were coming back. He was coming backwards, and if he had just kept going, if he hadn't stopped, if he had kept going, it would have been motion. But he stopped after 1 step, and therefore it was a flag. So it's unlucky. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe Cooper saw him, but I looked like he kind of lurched a little bit. But bottom line,
it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6.
Well, 3rd and a lot.
Yeah. Third and more than it was.
Exactly.
That's right.
But it's only 3rd, so they've got an opportunity. Gugino, a little deeper drop, coming near side. Got his man, Danko, down near the 30-yard line. First down, Wildcats. Mergen on the stop. 36 over as well is Sony. Oh, boy. Simfilavong. Hope I'm close on that one.
Looks good to me. Credit to Danko staying with that ball. There were two defenders there. Danko really sold out to get that. Great concentration then by Christian Danko to catch that ball, make sure he had it. I mean, how many times have we seen this year receivers get the ball, hits them in the hands, and they're already looking to run upfield, and then that ball hits the ground, right?
And give Gugino credit, too. That was a nicely thrown ball. Had a nice arc on it. It was really where it had to be once again.
It was.
Fresh set of downs for the Wildcats, looking to get on the board tonight. Gugino got his man, Evans, 15, 10. Hangs on to the football. Is it going to be first down at about the 11 for the Wildcats? 19 yards to Evans. And spot that ball. Yep. Inside a minute to go in the third.
The entire Eagan bench is down inside the 35-yard line. Everyone wants to watch. Everyone wants to see what's going on down here. And the offense here this is the kind of momentum you want for next week. It's the good stuff. This is good stuff.
Gugino cutting it back. Gavin Gugino maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage on what probably will be the final play of the third quarter. You know, you talked about the Eagan players all standing down there inside the 35, and I think that's great to see. Obviously, the score is not in their favor, but to be up like that, supporting their teammates here on senior night, it shows some very good teammates. So we're going to go to the fourth quarter with Lakeville South comfortably in front on this one. Opportunity for us to thank our sponsors this year for Eagan football. Cooper's, Wyatt's Twisted Americana, Bald Man Brewing. So thanks for all those folks that have helped out with the Eagan football program. And speaking of programs, as you look at the Pajama Day party still going on here in the pit. You know the nice thing about the Pajama party? You don't have to change when you get home.
That's right.
But on a more serious note, November 11th, 9 a.m., the annual Eagan High School Veterans Day program is scheduled to take place in the high school gym. Opportunity to pay tribute to both active and veterans who, according to the website, who, quote, exemplify the true character of the American spirit. So, 9 a.m., November 11th, Veterans Day here in the high school gymnasium. I understand all the students come in for that. Years past, I understand it's just a really, really cool event. And they said for the public, get here a little bit early, like 8:45 if you want to get in there before the students. But again, Veterans Day, 9 a.m. at the high school. So we got 12 minutes to go of running time. And look at the pink out on the far side.
They don't look too excited to be here anymore. Maybe they're all cheered out. Maybe that's the situation.
The pajama party. It's
the Eagan Pit's having all sorts of fun, and the pink out looks like they're blue.
Well, they're cold probably. They're cranking out to a little Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer." Williams to about the 7. Third and about 6.5 upcoming for the Wildcats. Looking to put one in the end zone for the third time this season.
Now would be this is again, it's 4-down territory, Mike, right?
Yeah,
so
I was going to say it's got to be, isn't it?
It's 4-down territory, so it would be really exciting here to unleash. If you have a trick play or a play you've been saving all season to get 6 yards, this would be time to break it out.
Ethan Gugino. Robinson couldn't quite hang on. Coverage on the play by 27, Joe Abbott. Cats fans looking for a flag, none forthcoming.
Yeah, I think it was just really great defense that time by Lakeville South, and unfortunately Robinson it hits him,
and then
he just couldn't keep it off the ground. He just couldn't keep it off the ground. He had 2 chances at it. Candidly, Mike, do you come right back to that?
Why not?
Come right back to it. Is he going to drop 2 in a row?
Well, we're going to find out. It's 4th and 7, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Williams alone in the backfield. Gugino looks left, throws across the middle. Knocked down amongst a number of bodies. You heard cheering. I think that might have been more hopeful from the pajama pit.
Yeah, I think Lakeville South thought they had intercepted that football.
I think so too.
And you see Jonah Evans there talking. We can't see from here, but Jonah Evans talking to the official on the way over. I'm not sure quite what his thought process is there, but look, good defense that time by Lakeville South. There were a number of Cougars around that football. Makes me kind of wonder what happened because I'm sure Eugenio thought he had a receiver there, but gosh, it seemed like a lot of defenders.
It was Zach Enders might have been the man that jumped across there for the Cougars. And another run for the Cougars get them out to the 12-yard line. It's coming up off the bottom is 14, Matt Shegelkov. I hope I'm getting that right. He's a junior, 6', 175. 5-yard pickup, they're saying officially that time for the Cougars. You look, I see that camera shot there. Still a lot of fans over on that Lakeville South sideline. Bundled up. Yeah, good job that time by the Wildcat defense. They gobbled up that ball carrier. That was 25, Hank English. Part of the Zach attack. Wallach was in there, among others, for the Wildcats. Down to 9:47 running time here in this final quarter. Pajama Pit, they're having fun now. And straight ahead, I bid on the fake. And that's again 14 the ball carrier. That's Shegelkov. It's going to be 4th down for the Cougars. They're about a 3-yard pickup there. Yeah, the Pit.
Well,
by the way, I saw they have their own Twitter account. It's at Eagan Pit, I think it was, or at Pit Eagan.
I did not know that. I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yeah, we've got viewers. Let's see if the
Lakeville South's having a little trouble making sure they got the right personnel on the field.
I was going to say, are we looking at a timeout and to be taken by the Cougars? It's like they're counting to make sure they've got 11 out there.
Eagan should be setting up for this return.
Oh, they
That's
got
blocked. It's blocked.
Hanson with a block.
Touchdown,
6
Eagan.
points, Eagan. Wallach. Watch 84.
Hanson blocks it. Absolutely. Wow. He just climbs the ladder. And then Wallach scoops and scores. Congratulations, young man. Good job, special teams. Derek Hanson with the block. Wallach. So I think that's Hanson with the assist. Wallach with the touchdown. Good for Eagan. Good for those guys. That defense has been out there a long time tonight, Mike. They've taken their lumps dealing with a very good offensive unit from Lakeville South. Great of them for them to score.
Let me correct you real quick. You mean this year?
Yes.
They've been out there a lot.
Yes.
And the kick is up, and it is good. The Wildcats get on the board. Wallach from the 5 off the block punt. Noah Kipp splits the uprights 50-7. And there you go. We have not seen that. Well, it's only the 3rd time this year the Wildcats have scored. So it's great to see the Pit running around. They've got the flag up. And you know what? Obviously the score is well out of hand, but what a way for some of these seniors to go out.
Oh, absolutely. You don't think Jesse Wallach's going to remember that the rest of his life?
Zach Wallach? Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Zach Wallach, yes.
Jesse Wallach might too. I don't know who that is. But yeah. How about Derek Hanson, though? Another one. You look at Derek, and I was talking to Coach Comer, one of the defensive coordinators, and I said, Hanson's one of those kids. We haven't called his name a lot this year, but he has played really, really well, I think.
Yes.
And we talked about his big frame, and like Comer said, Hanson's 6'4". Gets those arms up, that puts you to what, 6'7", 6'8"?
At least.
You leap like that at the punter, and then what
That's
are you
right.
looking at, 7'6", 7'7"?
That's right. Well, you saw Hanson showing his cast to his buddy. He blocked it with his right hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the hand that has the cast.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Just saying, excellent job by Hanson that time blocking that kick.
Yep.
And making sure that he didn't interfere, didn't obviously hit the punter. Again, if you block the kick, you can hit the punter. But,
right.
But Hanson is, I'm sure this season he probably came in thinking, hey, I'm going to play wide receiver. I'm going to score somebody score a touchdown or two. I'm going to, catch a few footballs, and he breaks his hand, and he's too good. He's too good an athlete.
Yes.
Right? He's too good an athlete for this team to leave him on a bench. And he says, okay, you know what? I'll go play defensive end. How many guys, how many players, how many young men do you know are going to say, you know what, whatever I can do to play, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And defensive end was for him. And you're right, he has been a quality defensive end this year for a guy who is, to my knowledge anyway, has never played defensive end.
Yep. Talk about another kid that moved too is Adam Call. He was a tight end for a couple of years, moved over into that offensive line this year. And straight ahead was the ball carrier. I bid on the quarterback and then on the fake to the left side.
if you're watching from home, I hope you're enjoying this as much as we are in terms of trying to play. It's like a game of Where's Waldo, right? Except in this case, it's not a little red and white striped guy you're looking for. It's the football, because this Lakeville South team with this misdirection in the backfield creates all sorts of problems. Imagine if we're having these problems. Imagine what those players are struggling with down there.
And number 30, the ball carrier this time for the Cougars, Josh Jacobson. Hanson again following around, made the tackle for the Wildcats. Oland in there as well. Well, how do you game plan if you're a couple weeks down the line? You know, we're talking deeper into the playoffs. How do you game plan for Lakeville South?
Well, if I were going to try to beat Lakeville South, the first thing I have to do is know whether I have the athletes to do it. If I have the athletes to do it, then I have a chance, right? Then I've got a chance to beat Lakeville South, because I've got to have big, strong kids. I've got to have fast kids. I've got to have all these things. If I don't have the athletes, then I got to get a little more creative. Then I have to do something else. Then I've got to find some schemes and some ways to do things. I mean, the easiest way to beat any football team is to block, tackle, and hold on to the football better than they do. And that has very little to do with scheme. It has everything to do with technique and desire and your physical abilities and your mentality. So if I've got the athletes to play with Lakeville South, and I would say there are probably some teams out there that probably do, but most probably don't, then you're talking about scheme. How can we attack this line of scrimmage? How can we make these pulling guards get knocked off the route? How can we blow up things in the middle so that suddenly they're not able to do all of those things? Am I shooting the A gaps? Am I shooting the B gaps? So that way when they're doing the misdirection in the backfield, instead of handing the ball to their teammate, they're handing it to me.
Right. Lakeville South takes a timeout, by the way. That's their first of the second half with 6:49 remaining. Hey, you want to be part of the action here at the game? Volunteer with ETV. You can be part of our TV sports crew. Sign up at eagan-tv.com. And I know we've had some soccer action, both boys and girls this year. Obviously football. Winter sports are coming. Be over in the old Eagan Civic Arena for hockey before you know it. And there's other opportunities as well for other sports if you want to get the crew together. And, hey, these guys will show you how to do it. Nothing to it. Or, hey, you know what? If you got an idea for a TV show, you can volunteer at Eagan TV as well. Turn it into a reality. Check it out, eagan-tv.com. Community access television. Hey, you got an idea? That's what it's there for.
I'm not going to call another blocked punt, but it wouldn't break my heart to see Eagan catch this ball and get a decent return.
Well, good surge that time coming through. A high kick. I think we have to worry about a return because that ball is going to roll and getting out of the way. It was Sorensen wisely getting out of the way. Down to about the 27-yard line where Eagan will take over. With 6:37 to go in this one. Again, thanks to our sponsors this year, Cooper's, Wyatt's, Baldman Brewing. We had the Friday Night Lights, the El Burrito Mercado, the Brick Oven Boss. Pigs Unlimited were here this year. I saw Canes that just recently opened. They've got a table out there, some spin to win stuff. The Eagan Cheer Team, they've been out. They've had a table selling all kinds of candy and everything from Fun Dip to other stuff, and they've been out there all year. And the Eagan Band has their stand back here with some trinkets and whatnot. So, again, help all. It's great to have everybody out here helping out these the different outfits, the organizations. Something new I saw, by the way, out there was the Love Your Melon hats with the Eagan Wildcats on them. They were selling those out there tonight. And first down Wildcats across the middle. Danko, the reception.
Well, Eagan's gonna let these, again, as we said before, Eagan's gonna let these seniors play as much as they can and finish out on their last quarter of action here on this field. Because Lakeville South has put in some of their backups and their number twos, there might be some opportunities here for Gugino to do what he just did, that is complete some passes and move this ball down the field.
About halfway through this running time fourth quarter. William, actually that's Evans on the pitch. Nice run by Jonah. Inside the 40-yard line, down at about the 36. 22 yards on that carry for Evans. Who are these guys?
Well, what I appreciated particularly about Evans was on that run was the fact that he didn't try to cut it up. He didn't try to turn it into something. Watch him as he comes to the top of your screen after he takes the pitch here from Gugino, as our cameraman was faked out by. But watch Evans out here. He's not trying to get inside. He's just trying to get as many yards as he can.
It's been a rough year offensively, and we don't mean to, poke fun or anything like that, but it's great to see him having some success right here.
Absolutely.
There's Gugino pitch. Oh, Danko. And then we got a late flag coming in. And Danko gets down to about the 26-yard line. But, we've seen these guys, as we said, it's been a rough season offensively, but just to come out, have some success. I'm sure there's some smiles on some faces down there.
Absolutely.
And this is what you want to remember. You're going to finish strong at home. You got a block in the back, I believe, is going to be the call.
Sorry, that's soft.
Yeah.
That was soft. There's a hand in the front, there's a hand on the back, and at this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It wasn't particularly hard or difficult, but
and it's 50-7.
And it's exactly. I'm not sure what. Even though I know it's a spot foul, so I mean we get some benefit for the fact that it happened down the field, but still, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, but again,
back to the 41.
Again, but that's candidly, that's when we talked before the game started, Mike, about the Wildcats not. I can't remember the last time they really got the benefit of a call necessarily, and we've seen situations against Burnsville and against Eastview where calls that should have been made really weren't.
Yep.
So tough to handle.
First and about 15. Need to get down to about the 28. Gugino got his man. That's a first down. That's Evans down to the 23-yard line, 18 yards on the senior-to-senior completion. A 12-yard pickup.
Nice play. It was a nice job of the receiver. It was a nice job of Evans setting down and waiting, making sure he had that ball, and then doing something with it.
Absolutely. From the 23 for the Cats. Gugino wisely just falling on that far side. Evans that time preventing the turnover.
I think that was a little bit casual on the pitch there.
I think you're being generous. I think with that term.
I don't think Ethan was. I don't think he put a lot on that one. That was.
That's your Nerf ball in the backyard kind of thing.
Yeah. I think he'd like to have that one back because I'm not sure that was his best pitch of the night.
I don't think that's going to show up on the highlight reel this year.
No. That's okay.
Yeah. Here goes Gugino scrambling near side. Good pressure by the Cougars. Gugino lets it fly, and that's well out of bounds. Kind of a dangerous throw there going against his body, and far more Cougars in the area than Wildcats.
It was, but Ethan Gugino did an excellent job there of making sure that ball landed just out of bounds.
Yes.
He didn't take a grounding penalty, and it landed just out of bounds. So that's the kind of throw a mature quarterback needs to make, and he made it.
3rd and 8 for the Cats. Ethan Gugino brings it in.
I mean, I know there's a lot of scouting, there's a lot of coaching, there's a lot of everyone's watching to play, figure out who's on the other side. But realistically, we've had some real success running those little stop routes. Just keep running them until they take them away.
There's the option. That's read well by the Cougars. Danko gobbled up. He's going to lose one on the play. I don't know if you can hear maybe some of the coaches up here saying Eagan had 2 guys in motion at the same time, but at this point with 2.5 to go.
I think probably only the most egregious personal foul penalties are going to get called here. So
yeah, pretty much.
So I think at this point it's time to just go home.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Egan's got here's the play. Here's the prediction. Egan's going to line up. They're going to throw a pass. But here's the thing. The success will be if Gugino steps back on 3 steps and throws it on rhythm, it's a success. If he has to scramble around, we might have some more challenges.
3 steps, little time, steps up. He's going to run it. Nice move. Ethan Gugino, 10, 9, 8. That's going to be a first down, Gugino. What a run for the senior quarterback.
Well, what a great way to finish out your last game of your senior year. He kind of did me proud here. I mean, he did on rhythm make a decision. He didn't linger in the backfield, and I think that's the tendency of sometimes when you don't see someone down the field. Full credit to Gugino to not only see the opportunity and decisively go down that road, but then, like you said, what a move to the outside.
Absolutely. Straight ahead. That was Murphy, I believe, the ball carrier. Gets down to about the 1. Yeah, they're going to spot him at the 2 officially, but from 2 yards out. You see the time remaining. Cats looking to hit double digits. Gino, straight ahead, 6 points. Eagan, Murphy, the ball carrier. Nice way to end his career. The senior scores from the 2.
Nice surge by the offensive line. You saw a great block there. Great block there by Carson Cooper right in the middle of your screen, setting a seam. And then Murphy, to his credit, young man did not hesitate, did not wait around, did not pick and choose. This is not an exercise in careful planning and preparation. It's put your head down, stick your shoulder pads in, and dive into the end zone. And full credit to the young man for doing that.
Absolutely. Kip, second point attempt, PAT. That one, I think it squeaked over. It did. So 63 seconds left in the season, regular season, and it's 50-14 South over the Eagan Wildcats. But you know, it's been a long year, but it's fun to see the way this fourth quarter is going for the Wildcats.
It is. It is. It's fun. The parents are having fun. The cheer team is having fun. The pit that is still here, and it's still a relatively solid number of people. They're enjoying it. You know, they're enjoying the last few minutes of high school football here at Eagan High School for this season. And you know, like we've said before, Mike, this is not just a football game. It's a community coming together. It's a community, you know, sometimes you're here for food trucks. Sometimes you're here to say hi to other people. Sometimes you're here to watch football, watch the band, whatever, watch the cheer team, watch the dance team. But ultimately, it's all about everybody in the city, all about everybody who's part of the community coming together. And why not enjoy this for a few more minutes, because once it's done, it's gone.
You know, it's always hard on this game especially. You look out there after we're off the air, after they shake hands, they have their team huddle. Some of these guys just don't want to leave this field.
No, I think there will be a handful of boys a handful of players who will linger a long time.
And this one will be returnable for the Cougars. 15-20, 25. And out near the 26-yard line. It should be a couple of kneel downs away, and it's going to be 50-14 Cougars. But, you know, for the Wildcats, unfortunately, this is going to be loss number 22 in a row. I was looking at it. You know, the class of 2020 at Eagan High School is going to have varsity football is going to win one game in their 4 years. But and those numbers are awful. I mean, you can't sugarcoat that. But you know what? Nick Johnson and these guys, I think they've got this thing going the right way. I think they're the right group of guys to help turn this thing around. And we've seen success at the freshman level this year, at the 8th grade, the 7th grade. It's going to take a little time, yeah, absolutely. But I think, you know, next year, you never know, a couple of years from now, for sure, you're going to be a team that you're not going to be a pushover. You're not going to be the team that everybody wants for homecoming.
No. I think the other thing that Coach Johnson said to us prior to the game, Mike, was that, you know, before you become the head coach, before you're here in this situation, you don't always know what you've got. You know, you don't know who you've got. You don't know what positions you've got. You don't know who can really play, who's still figuring it out. You just don't know.
Right.
And so, you know, if there was a surprise for him, it was probably the fact that there was, you know, that he didn't know the players. You know, he's still figuring out these players and still trying to get them in positions to be successful. And that's what every coach wants to do, is put them in positions to be successful. So, you know, I think next year, Coach NJ will have, and the staff will do what they normally do in off season, but they're going to do a good job of saying, okay, here's what worked, here's what we can improve on. And I think these boys will be in a good position next year to have more success.
And I think even simple things like they're going to spend a little more time in the weight room, and you know, they now know the system that NJ is going to run, and that's something you can teach down at the lower levels. You know, be it freshman level, be it EAA, and you know, you've got it going. These great programs, they run the same systems all the way down.
Yeah, they do. They do. And you know, the most important thing about youth football is that they keep playing football.
Absolutely.
That's more important than anything. That is job number 1, 2, 3, and 4. But job number 5 is if you can teach these kids good technique and how to actually play in a system that the high school uses, it'll matter. I mean, the investment that you make as a football player, as a parent or a family of a football player, as a family of a coach, is substantial, and you want to see that payoff. It's not always going to pay off on the scoreboard, but there are things in life that are more important than the verdict of the scoreboard, and that's what hopefully all of these young men here in blue tonight have understood and are going to learn as they go through life.
And those in the white as well. So playoffs start next week, Friday the 25th. We don't know at the current time. We don't know where and when. Check the State High School League website, mshsl.org. See where the Wildcats are going. See who's going to be coming to Lakeville South on that Friday night. And, of course, we wish both these teams really well into the postseason. No word yet if Eagan TV will be a part of it. But if we're not, it's been a fun year. Great to work with you once again. And Josh and the entire crew down in the truck, they don't get the glory that they deserve, that's for sure.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and thanks to everybody down in that truck. We have a great crew. We have great camera folks here, great directors, producers, all of that. Thanks, Mike, for putting up with me all season and doing all the hard work, like, being prepared for all the great statistics that you bring to the table. So thanks very much for enjoying.
And we got that. And like you said, you see the men in blue. You know what? It's been a rough year on the scoreboard, but it's been a fun year. So you see Coach Nick Johnson talking to the Wildcats. See what they can do in the playoffs. It's going to be an uphill battle, admittedly, but you never know. So on behalf of the entire ETV crew, he's Nathan, I'm Mike. Thanks for being with us, and we will see you next time for Wildcat football on ETV.